Who are we, you ask? We are the podcast seeking out a better understanding of all things paranormal. We'll have guests from all backgrounds in the paranormal with us along this journey, with Q&As for listeners to ask paranormal experts their questions, and open call-in nights to let listeners discuss their thoughts and experiences on the paranormal. But the question remains, can the unexplained be explained? Or can the paranormal be nothing more than perception? So, close the curtains and turn out the lights and join us on the journey into the paranormal. This is Paranormal Engaged with your host, Adam Young, coming to you from the beautiful Evergreen State.
Welcome back to Paranormal Engaged. Happy Labor Day weekend, and I hope all is going well, whether you're gearing up to do the good old camping trip or kicking back at home with the TV on and enjoying that extra day of binge watching your favorite shows. Today is the first show, and we are joined with Fray and TV's Jolene Lockwood and from KEAP Paranormal, and they're here to share with us your journey into the paranormal and the Festival of the Unexplained. Karen and Joe, welcome. And Karen, we're going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, not much to know. Set up KEAP Paranormal last year. We've been going for about 18 months. Our team is made up of multiple teams. So we're all part of other teams as well. And we all came together to make one team. Continuing to work with the other teams also. I've been a medium for as long as I can remember. Been doing readings and so on. Publicly probably for the past 5 years. Do different types of readings, do tarot reading, medium readings, all sorts of different stuff. And yeah, really into doing my investigations and organising all sorts of different events.
Joe, and welcome to the show as well. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience?
Thanks, Adam. I started Phantasmic Paranormal, which is obviously another part of KEAP, back in 2016, and that kind of kicked off my TV career, so to speak, as well. So I'm not only a paranormal investigator, I starred on quite a number of different shows, both in the UK and also in the USA. Been a member of KEAP since April of last year, working alongside my best friends, which is fantastic. I'm also a medium. Been a medium since a natural medium, basically, as a child. So, yeah, so it's been quite a long time. But yeah, I enjoy it. We're a great team, and it's fantastic.
Awesome, Karen. We'll start with you first. So, how did you first become involved in the paranormal field?
Okay, for me, it was a chance. Tickets come available for an investigation locally. I've always been interested, obviously, with the mediumship side of things anyway, with doing that. And a friend of mine said to me, you really, really need to come on an investigation. You'll love it. And once you go once, you'll never stop. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, yeah, we'll do it eventually. So my husband and I, he found some tickets online that just randomly came available. It's actually on a car selling site. Weirdly, these paranormal tickets came up for an investigation. So he was like, right, it's just down the road. Let's just book it. Let's buy these tickets. Let's go. And it just so happened to be a HD paranormal event, which is run by a lady called Jane Harris. So we went along to her event, really enjoyed it. And then a couple of weeks later, she posted a link saying, she's looking for a new team member. Obviously, it was our first ever investigation. She was fully aware of that. And we were like, shall we apply? We really honestly didn't think she'd even think about us twice, with the fact that she knew we'd only ever been on her event and never done any before. But she obviously saw something, because she was only looking for one member, but then she took myself and my husband on as part of her team. And we've been part of that team for 3 years. But due to her commitments with filming and stuff last year, which is why KEAP Paranormal came about, and we set up our own company with all our friends, basically, because we weren't going out investigating. So we were missing it too much, and decided, you know what, let's all get together. We all do it anyway, so let's work together.
Perfect. And Joe, what got you into the paranormal field?
I didn't actually, I think I fell into it more than anything. Having experiences as being a child, I kind of started to read books at a young age, around about 7 or 8, about the legendary Harry Price, and just kept asking questions and kept researching. And then probably around about 15, started to do a little bit more research into EVP and all different experiments from the Victorian era, but right through to kind of the modern day, but not as technical as what we've got now. And it kind of stemmed from there, really. And falling into the paranormal, it was kind of to set up Phantasmic. I was going through a bit of a messy divorce, and I kind of needed something to focus on. So 2016, I thought, what can I do? I want to get out there and meet some new people who are interested in the same things that I was. So Phantasmic Paranormal was born. We were a female-only team based here in the UK, and we basically started to run, small events, and it quickly snowballed, and we quickly realized that we had a great brand, and we kind of knew that this is where we were destined to be. And obviously now I've been in the paranormal for God knows how many years. So it's just everything keeps changing, and it's just nice to see, like-minded people all get together and have this fantastic interest.
So Karen and Joe, what was your guys' very first experience with an actual investigation, and what was it that you experienced? What was your initial thought going in, and then what was your thoughts coming out of that?
I'll let you go first, Joe, for a change.
My first investigation wasn't really an investigation, so to speak. It was more of a group of friends all coming together and seeing if there was actually any sort of paranormal activity at a local woods. And the woods that I actually went to was known as the Screaming Woods, because a lot of people had actually taken their own lives in there, and it was known quite locally as a bit of an urban legend that if you dared enter the woods and called out to the spirits of these woods, then you would be kind of cursed with some sort of bad luck. But we did this investigation, and the evidence that we came up with was staggering, because I don't do any research when we go into places. And one of the girls had actually done her research, and she knew what happened there. And the young gentleman that I picked up on, one of the other girls had actually taken a photograph at the same time, and the photograph showed exactly what I described, albeit in like a blurry mist. However, you could quite clearly see this young man's denim shirt and his red jeans, which would have been in fashion at that time. And we got some amazing EVPs also. So that's probably one of my first investigations that really stuck in my mind.
So for me, like I said, it was that first initial investigation that I went on. I think Adam's frozen. No, he's back. I
think
continue?
it's still streaming, Karen. I think you might as well just, just
continue
carry on.
then.
And
Yeah, so for me, it was the initial investigation I went on with HD. It was at a hotel which is known for weddings. It's a massive wedding venue, not known for paranormal, not known for hauntings or anything like that. It's not actually a place that you can actually book very often. It was just one of Jane's exclusive locations, basically. She managed to get hold of it. And it just so happened that our friend that encouraged us to go, he used to work at the hotel. So he was well aware of a lot of apparitions and all sorts of things that had gone on there, because he worked there for quite a long time. And like I said, he's done investigations in the past. So I picked up on a lot of information. I did ask the question, am I allowed to tell you anything? Because it was my first experience. And there was a medium there that was actually working for the team. So out of etiquette, I said, am I allowed to tell you anything? Because I'm not sure how it works, whether, the public are allowed to tell you anything they pick up on. So yeah, we actually, within the first probably hour and a half, actually crossed over a young lady that was stuck at the hotel. She was from, I think it was about 16th century, I think she was. It was a long time ago now, so I'm grasping at straws. So it's around that sort of era, I think. So my first experience was actually helping the medium from the team to actually cross over a young lady that was stuck there, which passed in very tragic circumstances. So yeah, it was really interesting. I'd never used a Ouija board before. I'd never used any paranormal equipment before, and we were able to do both dowsing rods, things like that. So it was really good. It really opened up things for myself and my husband, really, because we managed to learn about different pieces of equipment and things. So it was a very interesting night. He actually got, I don't know if he got grabbed or whether he got pushed. I can't remember now. When during this investigation, so that was probably his first ever experience on an investigation. He actually had a physical experience for his first ever one, which he wasn't expecting.
So what notable sites have you investigated, and tell us about your experience and what you kind of found at those locations?
Okay, one of our favourites is Drakelow Tunnels, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
I think
we've had so many experiences there, though, haven't we? That we can kind of pinpoint. But the experience that I had was basically, it was shown on The Most Terrifying Places, which was aired on really last week here in the UK, but it was back in November of last year for the USA. And it was really strange because I'd been having dreams for about a couple of weeks before we went to this investigation. And Drakelow Tunnels is a World War II bunker, which was used to build the engines for tanks. And it was the old Rover factory. Now, the history states that when it was being built, that there were a number of fatalities through accidents. And it was just strange for a couple of weeks before we actually went. I was having dreams about just literally walking into this bunker and not being able to see anything. And that is exactly how it is. You walk in and it's pitch black. You cannot see anything in front of your face at all. Even with a torch, you still can't see the end of the tunnels. It's approximately 3.5 miles long. So you know that you're in there on your own, and it is possibly the most freezing cold place that we've ever been to. But the most poignant moment that stands out is Karen, myself, Karen's husband, Eddie, another friend of ours, Gary, and a lady called Victoria had actually I'd seen a man, and he was stood in a doorway. Now, what struck me as being a little bit odd was he had a navy blue boiler suit on. And he just stood there. And I said to Gary at the same time, I said, did you see that man there? And he said, no, I haven't seen anything. And I spoke to Karen about it. And I said, I'm sure I've just seen a man. I said, I'm going to go and see where he's gone. And as the 5 of us went, we kind of got broken off from the other group, and we walked into a tunnel. Now, the tunnels are labeled A, B, C, and D. And basically what happens is they have smaller subtunnels just off, and they're numbered. So we ended up walking into tunnel D9. And as we were in there, I watched this man walk through another doorway. I explained what I'd seen, and we decided to follow him. And as we did, we were stood in a tunnel, and there was just nowhere to go. He couldn't have walked past us because we would have potentially heard him, but we would have seen him as well with the torchlight. There was no noises, there was nothing. And then all of a sudden, it was like somebody had literally slammed into the back of me. Gary was talking to me, and I could see his mouth moving, but I couldn't hear a word he was saying. And literally, I felt as though I was about 6'3". I was quite a stocky gentleman, but I smelled really bad of like machine oil and body odor. And I could feel my face having this stubbly beard as well. And literally for what only seemed like, a couple of minutes, it literally floored me. And I ended up holding on to a table, and I fell to my knees. And then that was it. It was kind of like, what's just happened? And then not a second later, Karen's husband, Eddie, dropped to his knees and said, I feel sick, I'm going to be sick. And literally that is probably one of the most frightening experiences that I've ever had in the tunnels there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But you've had your experiences, Karen, though, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had, I think with there, I tend to go, not purposely, but I tend to go into trance pretty much every single time I go to Drakelow Tunnels. It's one of those locations that I've actually interacted with this one female spirit that many times now, that I pretty much automatically go into trance at some time during that night and channel her. We've actually got Eddie was my husband was actually secretly recording the whole session. I think it was about 20 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I went into trance, and I came out of it. In Gary, which brought me back out of it, our friend we were talking about, he said to me, did you enjoy that? And I went, enjoy, what are you talking about? I won't repeat the language I used towards him. I did say to him in so many words, why and what you're talking about, we haven't started yet. What are you messing around at, to put it politely? I thought we were going to get this trance session started. What are you waiting for? He said, come on then, let's start it. Unknown to me, I'd actually been in trance for about nearly 20 minutes, didn't even realise, and we've actually got the whole session recorded, and you can tell on the recording it's not my voice.
Yeah, I was just about to say that it wasn't your voice, though, was it? And it wasn't the mannerisms as well that you were portraying wasn't you either.
And since then, she's actually shown herself to me, and I can actually describe what she looked like. And it's funny because last week, last week, Jolene was at our house, and she came to visit us last week for a couple of days. And she said to me, I've just seen a lady stood behind me. I said, what does she look like? And she explains her to a T. We have a name for her, and her name's Rosemary. And she's actually from Drakelow. Drakelow Tunnels is only 14 miles from my house. I've only actually lived here since March. So all these experiences have been over the past 3 years at Drakelow. And last week, Joe was literally, a woman just came in. She just briefly showed herself to me and then just went. And when I said to her, can you explain her to me? And she explained her to me. I went, that's Rosemary from the tunnels. If that's exactly what she looks like. And it was quite remarkable, the fact that she just randomly popped in and popped back out last week.
But like we were saying, we were saying last week, weren't we, that she comes in visitation to you just to, obviously, because of you are going through quite a I'm not going to say traumatic, but you are going through an illness at the moment. And, you know, I think you've obviously been twinned in some form of previous life, because she's coming to check and make sure that you're all right. So I think it's just a nice thing that she does for you.
It's always amazing that you can you can develop a relationship with the spirits that you're constantly in contact with. I think that's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. It's crazy. We're very, very fortunate in that respect. She wants to make Jolene part of her circle. She's part of she's basically from a witch's coven, and she's actually given us the names of. We've interacted with 3 others from, I think it's 3 now, from the circle. And she refers to, whenever she comes through, she refers to Jolene as the girl. She doesn't pronounce it like that because she doesn't talk like me at all. We couldn't sound any more different from each other.
Yeah. She's very old English, isn't she?
But she's very much aware of Jo, and she has said she will be, and she has said, hasn't she, in the past that she will become the 8th member of the circle, of her circle. That's come up more than once now, and Jo hasn't always been there. When on one occasion, Jo wasn't even there. She wasn't even at the tunnel. She wasn't even on the investigation. It was only myself, Eddie and Gary and others that hadn't been with us previously. And they were like, who's the girl? And oh, that's just Jo. It's just for whatever reason, she refers to Jo as the girl. Don't know why, but she just does. So she will bring her up even when she's not there.
So Jolene,
but that's just, that just kind of makes it clear as to why she showed herself to me then as well, isn't it?
So was that your first experience with her, Jo?
With Rosemary, the first investigation that I went on with Karen to the tunnels, I've been to the tunnels a number of times. One time I went without Karen, but I went with Karen mostly the other times. And the girl, as I'm quietly referred to, bearing in mind I'm touching 42, so it's kind of like I don't feel like a girl anymore. But yeah, she's very polite towards me. She keeps on telling me that I am the 8th member. She says that I have abilities that she's never seen before and what have you. But I think it's kind of significant because my family are from a long line of mediums and a long line of natural witches. So I just feel like I've said to Karen before, there's a reason why Karen and I met. There's a reason why we are so in tune with each other as well. I mean, we've done interviews together, haven't we, Karen? And I've said what Karen's thinking and vice versa. And, to actually do that, it's kind of, I do feel like, Rosemary has kind of brought everybody together at Drakelow Tunnels for that exact reason.
Yeah, Jay's got a habit of asking my questions, basically. And then she'll say, Karen, have you got a question? I'm like, I did have, but you've already asked it again.
Oh dear.
But we it's really weird. We finish each other's sentences and things as well. It's really odd. And
that's why we work so well, isn't it?
And we know if there's something wrong with one of us, we can blatantly lie and say there's absolutely nothing wrong, but we can't because the other person knows that something's wrong.
Right.
We just know.
Like
so we would only speak.
Style, yeah. It's like the twin bond, isn't it, that we have?
Yeah, it's really weird, but in a good way.
So I invite our viewers too. If you got a question for Jolene or Karen, go ahead and post them in the comments, and I'll get them read and we'll get them answered as well. So let's talk a little bit about your investigation techniques. On an investigation and maybe even some of the equipment that you've used, but what's your initial approach going into a new site that you're going to go and investigate?
It really depends every time. We don't do everything the same every time, do we?
No.
If it's A public event, obviously, that's a little bit different because obviously that would be more structured, and we have groups, and we're usually, if we've been to the location before, we know what works where and so on. So we'll set things out and do it that way. But if we're going in to do like research, which we do quite a lot of those, we tend to like to go out and do our own research nights together, just as a team. With we've got 3 or 4 other teams that we work alongside quite frequently as well, and we all tend to go out together. But everyone brings something different. So Eddie will do EVPs. He'll use Spirit Portal and other pieces of trigger objects and other pieces of equipment. John has recently bought his binoculars, which are really cool because they record and take pictures, photographs as well. They're night vision. So they're really he's just started using those. They're really interesting as well. But yeah, like I said, it depends. Depends where we go in. So if you've got things that we think will work as trigger objects and so on at certain locations, we don't research. Like Jolene's already said, we do not research locations, except for Dennis. So Dennis is part of the team, and he will research places, but we're not interested. Joe and I don't want to know anything. We won't know anything about a location. No, we don't know the history of a place or anything like that before we go to. Obviously, places we've been to before we do, but we don't want to know because we want to go and discover for ourselves. We don't just work mediumship-wise. We also use kit. We do EVPs and things like that. And on occasions, we might use a board. Like I said, it literally really depends on the location and who we're with. Like I said, everybody's got their own favourite bit of kit that they like to use. So yeah, we've got so much between us. We have a lot of kit between us.
Yeah, we do.
We have a monumental amount of kit between us altogether.
I think the kind of consensus is because Karen and I are both mediums, we don't usually tend to rely a lot on equipment. Our other team members tend to use all of that, like Russ and John. They'll have, spirit boxes, they'll have the REM pods, your good old, technology style led investigations. However, Karen and I tend to use just our senses basically, and our gift, what we were given, and sometimes that works, but other times you can be blocked in certain investigations. So it is always great to have those, the electrical equipment and the trigger objects and things like that. And sometimes even just leaving a voice recorder in a specific area can produce phenomenal results.
So let's talk about a little bit about protection and safety. What do you guys do to prepare yourselves not only mentally but spiritually when you're walking into these investigations?
Well, I was waiting. I wasn't sure which one was going to go first.
I was going to say, I was just about to speak, but then I thought, no, I'll let Karen speak first.
So we've got our guides and so on that help us with our connections, and we always ground ourselves and protect ourselves, and we have our own ways of doing that. Mm-hmm. And we also have our own ways of opening up. We open ourselves up as well. But when it comes to the rest of the team, it's personal choice. They do it if they want, or they don't. Pretty much, they don't. Mm-hmm. Very often, they don't bother, which is fine because everyone's different. We all work in our own different ways. So, whereas Eddie, as an example, like Joe said, what happened to him, he will go in completely open and be like, yeah, do what you want, not bothered. I want an experience. And the other guys are pretty much like that as well. So yeah, they don't really bother with protection, things like that. Sometimes on public events, we will ask, do you want us to do a protection circle for you? 9 times out of 10, most people aren't bothered. They're not interested and they don't want it because they're like, well, no, I want to stay open because I want an experience. I don't want you to block me.
So let's talk about a little bit about channeling. Everyone's familiar what mediums do and stuff like that, but from your perspective, when you're there and you are channeling, when that channel happens or opens up, are you guys aware of what is going on at the time, or are you just kind of like in the back seat, or just exactly how's that experience for you?
You're basically, your body is a vessel basically, and you kind of move over to allow spirit to communicate through you using your energy, your voice box, your sight and everything. And usually what happens when you're in trance is you don't really have that much control. You have to be a really strong person to be able to let a spirit inside, because if you're not very strong, then that's obviously when problems happen, and these possessions can kind of take hold. And but like I said before, with the Drakelow tunnels, that basically I'd had a dream about trancing for quite a long time, and it was just so happens that I said I didn't have really any interest in it, to be honest, even though my guides say I can do. But it was just that split second when he came straight in the back of me, and it was like, no, you don't get to do that again. And you have to be you have to be very strong in order not to let them in. But since then, I've not really had the chance to go and do some channeling, apart from later on, probably another Drakelow investigation where Karen and myself were both nurses, and we were tending to a patient in the sick bay, and we were having a real good laugh about something. And to be honest with you, I remember my stomach hurting so much from laughing. But when we sort of like were back in the room, it was kind of like, what's just happened? And you've got no recollection until you actually see it back, and you think, was that me? Was I actually doing that? And it's surreal when you actually think about it. But that's basically what happens. Your body is just a vessel, basically, for somebody else's soul to actually make themselves known again.
And I think then you choose how far they come into your aura as well. It's, if you don't want to completely let them in and take over, then you don't. You can have them in so far enough so that you can communicate, but not completely bring them through. So you need to be aware of yourself and aware of your aura and your surroundings and so on. But that night, the history was just ridiculous. Yeah, literally had stomachache, tears rolling down our faces. And we still had this like laughter for no apparent reason after. It was like, we don't even know why we were laughing. And the rest of the team are really good at recording things on digital recorders, really good at videoing us, and even better at sharing it without our permission. Quite often things like that happen. They are really good at sharing.
But it's all good fun though, isn't it? We go back time and time again, so we must be gluttons for punishment. So but we enjoy it.
Yeah, and there's another place that we really enjoy as well, is Smethwick Baths, which is now only 3 miles. I've literally, where we've moved to, it's a bit of we've moved closer to pretty much to our favourite locations. Not purposely, but we have. The other one of our favourite locations, Smethwick Baths, is literally 3 miles away from us. Well, 3 miles from me. And I think we've all pretty much had an experience at that location as well. The manager of Smethwick Baths is actually a leisure centre, and he's actually also part of our team. And Andy's a psychic artist. He's a psychic medium and a psychic artist. So yet again, he brings another different element to the team as well. He can do something that neither of us can do. So when we are picking up on spirit and giving information, for us, that's really interesting as well, because Andy will be drawing away and you could describe somebody, and then after it'd be like, he's already drawn it, and he'll show you the picture and you've described what he's already drawn. And we had an experience of this a few weeks ago. We were doing a live interview Well, we were just doing a live chat, weren't we? On
the 4 of us, wasn't it? On our Keep On Chatting page.
Yeah, so there was myself, Joe, Andy, and Dave, which is another member of our team. He's also a psychic medium. We just randomly landed up with four mediums on our team and 4 people into their tech. It's just how it's worked out. But like I said, all 4 of us have our own quirky, different ways that we work, as well as working really well together. But Joe had picked up on a spirit in someone's house. Someone was actually watching, that was commenting. And Joe was explaining, and as an example of this, Andy had already drawn the lady's front door. He'd never been to this lady's house. We all know her, but no one's ever been to her house. And he actually drew her front door and the lady that Joe described. And Joe described about the lady wearing like a purpley cardigan and a description of her and so on and so on. And then when Joe finished giving her information, Andy then put the picture up on screen and like showed us his notebook and said, well, is that what you saw, Joe? Because basically everything she'd said, he'd already drawn it. He was just waiting for Joe to finish talking so he could actually show us. He'd drawn the front door and he drew the lady, and basically everything he'd already drawn is everything she described after. And they were in different locations. Joe's up north and Andy's in Stourbridge, and the lady's house is actually down in Somerset. So we are, that probably means nothing to you, but we literally couldn't be any further away from each other, basically. Mm-hmm. But yeah, going back to Smethwick, I think we've all had kind of personal experience there. Eddie has actually saw his first ever full apparition in the tunnels there. Russ has had an experience there. I think Dennis has had one. John's had another one. Andy obviously has had loads because it's his full-time job working there. So I think the only team member that hasn't actually been there yet is Dave. So we are planning to take him there as soon as all this virus stuff is all done with and we can actually get back out again.
So back when you first got into the paranormal to now, what would you say would be what did you learn the most of out of paranormal, taking all of your experience with it? What have you learned so far about the paranormal?
I've learned that the paranormal is an ever-changing genre. Basically, it's everything is, people sit and say that, I've been called an expert in the paranormal, but I am definitely not an expert. I am always learning. And the amount, if somebody says that they are the best paranormal investigator in the world, then, I would challenge them to actually prove that, because I'm learning, and you learn on a daily basis in this industry. There is always something to read. There is always something to research. There is always new investigation techniques to learn. There is always new experiments to come up with, from the likes of water ITC to, old style Victorian seances that are making a huge comeback at the moment. And, there's brand new tech always being built. And it's, it's ever evolving. So probably the most significant thing that I've taken away from the paranormal is friends are the family that you choose, and being on this journey with my family is an amazing gift, and it's it's always one that I'm very, very thankful for.
Yeah, I agree. You never stop learning, literally. Basically everything Joe said, plus you are always learning. You're continuously learning. Every time you go back to a location, it doesn't matter how many times you go back to that location, you will learn something new again about that place, about the spirits there, about your team, because we all have our own different personal ways of working. We all have our own personal experiences. So, like you said, you never stop learning.
Yeah, the paranormal, it's like an onion layer, isn't it? You peel one layer back and then you find something else. You peel that back, there's something else. And it's just that ever continuing, peeling back the layers constantly.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So let's talk about the Festival of the Unexplained, which is due up to, it's going to be a live event that you're going to be putting out on Facebook and your YouTube and your website, correct?
Yeah, it's also on other multiple other platforms too, which we haven't yet released yet.
Okay. So this is due up to be on October 24th through the 25th.
Yeah, 36-hour non-stop. John has labelled it the Parathon.
The Parathon, yeah.
Parathon. We kind of run with it. John keeps calling it that. So he's got his wish, and we even put it on the poster for him because that's what he continuously calls it. So basically we did one in August, and it's supposed to have been literally 8 till 4 Saturday and 8 till 4 Sunday. And we had such a massive response and didn't expect everyone to come back and basically say yes, and people to contact us asking to be part of it. So the last one landed up being from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. both days. And then on the second day, people were contacting different parts of the team, because the festival team is made up of some of the KEAP Paranormal team. Not all of the team are part of it. There's myself, there's Joe, there's John, there's Russ and Dennis and Eddie, which are part of the we're Team Festival, basically. So we're a separate team just for running the festival events. So yeah, on the second day, people were saying, oh, when's the next one? We're like, hold on a minute. We're only like halfway through the second day. We hadn't even thought about doing another one. It was just a one-off thing. We weren't going to do it again. The only reason we decided to do it is because we normally, I've been running these types of events now for over 2 years, physical events. I started off doing psychedelic fairs, craft fairs, all that supernatural fairs, and it's kind of evolved from just having stall holders to then having speakers and workshops and so on, because people were asking, you know, can you teach us something? Can you not have someone, I don't know, do platform mediumship or something as well, rather than just stalls? So that's kind of how that came about, was people actually approaching us. So from that, and obviously because of coronavirus and everything else in my current situation, we decided, you know what, let's give a virtual event a go. We still include all our stall holders because we don't want them to miss out, because they're not going out and selling to anyone at the moment. They're relying on people going onto their pages and seeking them out to purchase from them. So we just thought it'd be a really good idea to give them a 2-day platform, basically, to advertise everything they do. So in the hope they could get some sales, basically, which they're missing out on at the moment by not actually being out there at physical events. And then obviously with the speakers and interviews and so on, it was to keep interest rather than just being stall holders. We just brought it all together, and it's now turned into
a huge mammoth virtual event on. It is just fantastic. You know, we haven't disclosed all of our speakers, but I can categorically tell you that this is not one that is going to be, shouldn't be missed. Basically, we have some amazing people from the paranormal. We've got all different genres though, haven't we? So it's not just the paranormal. We've got, you know, people who want to discuss UFOs. We've got wizards. We've got, you know, natural witches. It's something for everybody. But beauty of it is even if they don't tune in on the day, they can still catch up on Facebook and they can still catch up on YouTube, which means, you know, it's accessible for everybody. And especially for you guys over in the US, you know, the time difference for you between us and the UK is quite significant. You know, some of these are later on in the evening, and you guys don't tend to watch things from, say, 5 a.m. in the morning, but at least you guys can have a look and watch and see exactly what we get up to.
So we actually have a question from Danielle here. It says, do you believe a spirit can come through our home spirit box from a live feed?
Yes, I definitely do. Yeah, because it's you're part of that investigation, regardless of whether it's a live feed or whether it isn't. They're obviously generating quite a lot of energy for them to actually come through on a spirit box anyway. What would be amazing is if Danielle, if she's had that experience herself, did they have the exact same sentences come through, the exact same words and things like that? Because if that's happened, then that's phenomenal.
That'd be really cool. I'd really want to know more about that, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But we can tune in. If one of our friends, like Gary, does a lot of Gary's very much a walkabout guy. He's out every weekend doing something somewhere if he can, basically. If he can't get in a location because of the current situation, he'll go for a wander. And you could be at home watching and you can tune in to where he is. And, we'll drop comments on there saying, picked up on this, or is this date relevant, or is this significant to where you are, or, and you can do it the other way around. We can actually tune into where he is and comment on his life. It's not his. I've done it on other teams as well. They were like, if anybody's picking up anything, then please let us know. And it was quite interesting because I commented and they had a spirit portal, and what I said, I thought it was a name or something, actually came through. They didn't say out loud because I'd only literally just written it. I literally just commented. And a few minutes later, that name actually came through the portal without prompting. They didn't even say that I'd said this name in the comments, but it did come through the portal, which is quite interesting. And then after, they were like, well, hold on a minute, actually, that name has been brought up by someone in the feed.
Yeah, but it's also quite interactive though as well. And these live feeds, the reason why investigators do this is because, we're only human. We do miss certain things on live feeds, and we do rely on, the public at home to actually come back and say, look, you've had this on the spirit box. I've had this at home on the spirit box. And it just gives them a little bit more of an insight into the investigation and to be part of that, although virtually, but they're still part of it.
We did one recently, didn't we? Again, back at Drakelow, a team called Just Paranormal, the first team ever to live stream from Drakelow tunnels, which is obviously underground, has no electricity at all. They have a generator in the day. I think they have electricity in the day, but at night there's nothing. There's no lighting, nothing, without torches. Like Joe said, it's pitch black. And they were the first team ever to do a live stream from Drakelow a couple of weeks ago. And we were really fortunate to be one of the teams that are actually invited to do that from there. So that was a big thing for here, that happened a few weeks ago. Like I said, that's never happened before from there. So that was good for people that haven't been to that location to see what goes on at the location and what you could pick up on and what it looks like in there if you've never been.
So the Festival of the Unexplained seems to be a pretty unique idea. So what sparked all that?
It was, like I said, I started doing one type of event, and then that merged into something else, and then merged into something else, and it's just snowballed in the last, probably 12 months, I'd say. Like I said, I only actually started off small, that I was only having like 15 stallholders at a location. It's only a really small event. And then up to last year, the event we did last year, I think we had nearly 40 stallholders. Mm-hmm. And we had talks that went on during the day from like 10 in the morning till we finished at 5. And that was a physical event that we did last year. And like I said, it went down really well. We had loads planned for this year, and then COVID hit and that all went on the back burner, basically. Mm-hmm. So that's how the virtual event come around.
But you wanted to still kind of give it back, didn't you? You still wanted to make sure that the stall holders were going to be, have the exposure that they wanted. But also we enlisted the help of Chris McKinnell through John Tolliday, who's one of our other paranormal investigators and our friends. And, it's when you get those big names like that, you kind of, you have to do something with it. And the virtual event is Karen's baby. And like she says, it's just absolutely snowballed. And this next festival, which is October the 24th and 25th, is mammoth. It's I've never ever seen anything like it. And the best thing is as well is it's free. There is no charge for it whatsoever. And people can come on, they can watch the people that we have available to speak. There's going to be some workshops as well available. And it's great, and it just gives everybody the opportunity to come and get involved, and it doesn't cost anything, which is fantastic.
Which our physical events, we've never charged entry to any of them, regardless of who we've had there. Name what UK names, like I said, Jane, who I work alongside as part of HD, working for her team. She's a big name here in the UK because she's been on, like Joe, she's been on multiple shows in the UK, and she's been on shows in the US as well. So she's been on Deadly Possessions in ones like that. So she is a big name here. And she has done more than one talk for us at our different events. And we literally, having people like that given their time for nothing, we don't charge the public to come and see them. So when we do our small events, we have never, in the past 2 years, I've never once charged anybody to come to any of my physical events, because I feel, for me, it's given that platform for store holders, given that platform for people to come and learn from others, that are giving their time up. So with the virtual event, we decided that it was only fair to have that free also, because at the end of the day, it's online. You don't pay for Facebook. Yeah, okay, you pay to set up a website, but you don't pay for YouTube and the other platforms. So why, so I don't, me personally, I won't charge people to watch something that's online and free to, it should be free to watch.
Yeah, and we're very, very lucky that the names that we have got have kindly donated their time to us as well, and they understand the importance of this event, and also the bringing together of the para unity and the paranormal world. It's just it is something for everybody. But like Karen keeps saying, we don't have to charge, and we don't charge, and that's the beauty of it. So we just need to get the word out a little bit more, don't we, Karen?
Yeah. And the thing is, like I said, it's not costing us anything apart from our time, basically, to set all of this up. It's
I know.
Yeah, sorry, I distracted reading. If when someone comment with you automatically read it, don't you? You get distracted. Yeah, so we're giving up our time, obviously, to contact people, to advertise it, to contact the store holders and so on. I have changed it this time because there was a bit of a mishap. I will be honest, it wasn't completely smooth last time. Somehow halfway through the first day of our event, we had a separate events on our festival page just for store holders. And we did the same on the Sunday. But halfway through the day, it miraculously disappeared and no one knows how. So what I've actually done we started doing it today, actually. Our website design, I'm starting to do it for today. Rather than have an event page where all the store holders exhibit, we have actually given them a platform permanently on our Festival of the Unexplained website. We are actually in the process of setting up a page to advertise for them. So we've now got a recommendations page on our website, and it's basically a recommendation stroke directory. So for all those people that have been storeholders for us in the past, not just our virtual event, the last one, but also our past physical events. So even the past physical events that I was doing, even before we all got together, because prior to January this year, I used to organise everything on my own, literally, the whole event. But then obviously we got such a fantastic team with KEAP that some of the other guys were interested, and John and Russ came on board and started organising speakers for me. And Jolene came on board as well. And then obviously Dennis has now really got interested in it, so he's come on board with it too. So we're a really good team. We work together, we do everything together, we talk about everything. And like I said, that is now live on the website, that we've actually got the recommendations page on there. So that will stay on there permanently. That's always going to be on there. It will just be updated and added to as time goes on, because we have regular exhibitors at the physical events that tend to do pretty much all of them, or at least half of them through the year. And they were booked up on this year, which are now moved to next year. So like I said, it just means that we can still give them a platform, but rather than it be a 1 day or 2 day platform, they've now got a permanent one on our website as well, because we thought that was like a kind thing to do. And it's our thank you to them for always supporting us with all our events, basically. So that was like a thank you from us to all the store holders for that.
So this upcoming event is not just no small feat. It's going to be kind of a large event. So
yeah, 36 hours non-stop.
Right. So share with us a little bit kind of behind the scenes of the kind of work that is put into doing something like this.
Well, it's to be honest with you, it is a mammoth task. You know, we have to schedule all these guests. We have to do some pre-records, because obviously it's near the Halloween season and quite a lot of people are busy around that area of those dates. So, you know, trying to do the logistics and the operational side of things is a huge task in itself. And, you know, together as a team, we will all take our own responsibilities. We will, you know, on the day, we will do our own interviews with our guests. It's not about one person doing everything all at once, because Karen, bless her heart, she did that from the outset, but this has grown into something that I don't actually think Karen anticipated it would grow into. And now we've realized just how huge this actually is going to be for this weekend. And, you know, we do see other events online, don't we, Karen? And we sit there and we think, yeah, that's a really good lineup. But when you look at the lineup that we've got, it's going to be, wow, look at this lineup. We don't want to miss this.
Absolutely.
We will look like a weather. It's because
we're
it's
going
really
to start
hard.
teasing, aren't we? We're going to start teasing with the names of the people that we have.
But it's really hard not to say this. Yeah, so we will be releasing. We're going to do one a day. We're going to be really bad and be really mean, because we are actually decided, because we have a team meeting every single week.
Mm-hmm.
It can be anything from an hour to 2 hours. We've got a WhatsApp group. We've got a Facebook group. Yeah, so we're always in contact with each other all the time, regardless of this event, or regardless of KEAP Paranormal, regardless of any investigations we do. Because like Joe said, we're not just a team, we're not just friends, we have become a family. And we're not just saying that. I know people think, yeah, but we generally have. We all look out for each other. We all care for each other. We see each other outside of, we're not just part of a team in Paranormal. We see each other. Like I said, Joe was down at ours last week. She went home on Friday morning. Gary turned up Friday afternoon. And for another couple of days, you know, we have barbecues around our house and so on. So, you know, we do generally spend time together. It's not just about investigations and festivals and stuff. So we do actually generally spend a lot of time together anyway. And we're pretty much all in contact. I think we pretty much speak to each other like
all
every
the time.
Yeah.
It's really funny because my partner always says my phone beeps and he'll be like, "Oh, that'll be Karen again." I was like, yes. but it's good when you've got those partners who who understand what you do for a living and everything. And Wayne Galwell, thank you for sharing to your page as well, and hopefully you'll share our Festival of the Unexplained as well to your page. And that's a little just a little bit of a nice asking, if you don't mind.
But for me, I'm really fortunate because obviously Eddie and I set up KEAP Paranormal and we do everything together. So I'm really lucky in that respect because we do like I said, we do everything together. We do all the organising together. We do all the investigations together. We decide on locations together and then put it to the team and say, do you want to do here? Do you want to do there? When are you available? And so on. So the KEAP Paranormal side, Eddie and I do all of that together because we're a team in our marriage and we're also a team in KEAP and the festivals. Like he'll do all on a physical event, he'll do all the logistics. He will sort all the store holders out on arrival because I'm normally flapping around somewhere. Not now because I allow everyone else to help me and not do everything on my own. So he will sort out all the store holders and setting them up and so on. So like Joe said, everybody's got their job basically. Russ and John are running around organising all the speakers and making sure they're all set up for their talks and so on and physical events. Exactly the same with the festival, with the virtual side of things. We've all contacted different people. We've all got different areas of interest. Joe and I aren't just interested in mediums and so on because, we do have more interest than that. John's very much into the occult side of things. He is like really knowledgeable in so many different areas. He's been in the paranormal field. I wouldn't even like to say how like a lot, many years. Okay, I won't say how many, but a very long time. I put it like that.
I think he'll kill you if you carry on. So with Russ and John, they've actually they have their own team, Wednesday Paranormal, and like I said, they're part of ours. So with those two, they've got their own areas of things. Like Russ likes his ITC and so on. So we've all got our own little areas and different things we've all got interest in. And obviously also with Halloween coming up in minds, we've also brought things in that we probably wouldn't normally do because of the time of year. So that's all I'm saying. I won't say it anymore because I don't know. Because I know what I'm like and I won't stop. And then it'll all come out and then I'll be in trouble.
Well, we definitely don't want that. So where can people find out more about the event that's coming up? Where can they track the progress of it? And should they want to get a hold of you guys, how can they do so?
Okay, so we have got a Facebook page, Festival of the Unexplained. We've also got our website, which I'm going to put on there for you now in the comments. Done. And we've also got a YouTube channel. So basically, so you either go on the website or go on the Facebook page. We've also got a group on Facebook as well. So our plan is we will release, like I say, at the same time, every day we will release a name. We're not telling you how we're doing it because we didn't do it last time. We literally just announced everybody, didn't we? But this time we're doing a reveal every day. So in our Facebook group, those people that are in that will get the release first. So we will post it in our Facebook group first before we actually post it on our Facebook page and website. It will be on the Facebook page and the website at the same time, basically. That's how we've decided to reveal our guests this time around. So either the Facebook page, the website, or find our group.
Yeah, you can contact as well if you obviously apart from the Festival of the Unexplained as well, we both have our own personal Facebook pages as well. And we do share an awful lot about the festival on there. So, you know, anybody who wants to connect can do so by adding us as a friend if they wish to. You know, we're not, you know, we're quite happy to accept people who obviously listen to your show. But yeah, it'd be fantastic to have, you know, to connect with everybody and have them part of our festival as well.
You know, like we said, you can watch it after. It will be streamed this time. Last time we uploaded the videos after the interviews on our website, but this time around they will actually be streamed live onto the website. So rather than catching up after, you can, if you haven't got well, obviously for this interview it's Facebook, but if people haven't got Facebooks, believe it or not, some people don't actually have Facebook, I have discovered recently. So they've only got Instagram or they've got Twitter, because we've got an Instagram page, we've got Twitter and everything as well. So obviously it'll all go on there too. So we have advertised on the Twitter and the Instagram. We will be that people can actually watch the live stream via our website if they're not on Facebook or they don't want to watch it on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and we've also got a competition running as well for teams over in the US and the UK to have their own little slots throughout the day. What we're asking for is teams to be on an investigation, to introduce their team, to introduce the location where they're at, to undertake possibly one either an EVP session or, you know, a seance or spirit box, anything like that. But then we're asking for an evidential reveal as well. So we want video clips that are no more than 10 minutes long, so that we can actually have a look and we can see just how differently the teams work. And it's also, it just brings everybody together. And this competition is fantastic because it just means that your viewers and people across the world can be involved in this festival and actually have their own 10-minute slots showing what they do. And it's basically a form of advertising for them. And if they do public events or anything like that, it just helps them to gain a little bit more exposure. And that's basically the competition. So we will vet everything. And the closing date for that competition is the 14th of October.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the other thing that I forgot to mention. Well done, John, commenting. Well done, John.
I was going to say it, but he commented. I was like, I'm on the ball, John.
But yeah, like adding to what Josie said, literally it's for any teams anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you are. It's obviously as long as we can understand you language wise. But yeah, it's just given everybody a platform. Yeah, again, like we said about the store holders and so on, it's the same with teams. You know, there's a lot of teams out there that don't get any exposure. And we've got some really good friends, like I said, that we work with, other teams that we know of that do some great videos on YouTube and so on. But yeah, so like she said, it's like, it is only a 10-minute slot. It doesn't sound long, I know, but it just gives them a chance to give an introduction to who they are, so you can see a little bit of them investigating, and for them to have a little bit of free advertisement, basically. And they will be slotted in between the interviews. So they need to be pre-edited as well, by the way. That's one thing we didn't mention, because we haven't got time to edit them for you. So we please do ask that people edit it themselves. I've dropped the email address on there that they need sending to in the comments there. But yeah, it's like I said, it's yet again bringing people together. It's not just about our team. It's about bringing lots of teams together and giving the platform. Like in our past physical events, we've actually had other teams come and do talks. I think we had 4 different teams do 4 different types of talks at our last physical event we did, to give them a platform.
Yeah, but it's good though as well, isn't it? Because if we sort of promote Power Unity, then, you know, chances are we will be in the US before long, and we will be meeting these teams, and, you know, it will be fantastic to kind of get all of these teams all together. And it, you know, all doing the same thing that we all love.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we're all striving for the same thing. We're all doing the same thing. Like I said, so why not do it together? Like I said, we work with lots of teams, and we've got a lot of friends that are part of different teams. You've got people comments on here. You've got like Jen from Willows. We do research night with Willows. We do research night for Paracom. We've already mentioned Just Paranormal, and like West London Paranormal are off to Salem in January to do some investigating and video and stuff. So I've been sharing some of their stuff this week because they're off there next year. So yeah, it's like I said, it is bringing everyone together, not just the teams we work with. We promote each other all the time anyway, but it's by bringing other teams in that we don't know and to make new connections.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I want to take time. Thank you both for coming on and sharing the Festival of Unexplained with us and a little bit about your guys' personal journey through the paranormal. I truly do appreciate it, and it has been phenomenal.
We're sorry we've waffled because we just we've done. It's usually the angel numbers always come together, don't they? And we've been on live for 1 hour and 11 minutes. And when I last looked at the clock, it was 16 minutes past 4 in the afternoon. So these angel numbers keep cropping up all the time. But Adam, thank you so much for letting us come on the show and to talk about the festival. And we do hope that you potentially will be involved in our next one.
Yes. In fact, stay on after this and have a conversation with you about that. Yeah, as far as running long, that's fine. And it's just like I told Karen when we spoke last week that, time isn't a factor on this. It's about getting together and enjoying the chat and just having fun.
Yeah.
So.
We're the same. That's what it is. We do the same. In another team, I just need to mention this one last team because I was with them last weekend and I didn't even mention their name, which is really rude of me. And I've got to see them next weekend and face them.
I will be shooting you as well if you're not careful.
And that too. And the fact that I've actually organised a research night next Saturday. So all the teams I've mentioned, like some of those are actually going to be there. And the one I didn't mention, which we work with all the time, is Spectral Ghost Seekers. And they're another awesome
wonderful team.
So if I don't mention them, I'll get shot next week. So now I won't.
There you go. All righty.
We work with so many, there's something to remember. That's why.
We do, yeah. We work with, even separately and together as a team, we work with so many different people, and it's just great. But thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Go ahead and take a time real quick and throw out your shout outs and thank yous for putting together the event and things like that. Go ahead.
Thank you. Oh, awesome. Right. That's it. It'll be there forever now. I'm joking, not really. Haunted Magazine have been absolutely amazing. Those of you, I'm going to do a plug here now. This has nothing to do with any of the festival. I'm doing a plug now. I actually not only have KEAP Paranormal, HD Paranormal, and Festival Explained. I am also advertising executive for Haunted Magazine, for those of you who don't know. So I am your person to contact if you want to advertise with us. But yeah, Haunted Magazine are amazing, not just because I work with them and they made me part of their team, the Haunted team earlier this year, but they have been heavily involved with our last festival and this one. Andy actually designed our posters for us. He's a fantastic designer. So yeah, he designed our posters for us. They advertised for us in the magazine as well, which was really kind of them. Then we've got Gothic.
Yeah.
Go on.
But what's great about Haunted Magazine is it's the only publication in the UK that is geared up around the paranormal genre. So they have guest writers each and every month, and it's a subscription based magazine. So you guys in the USA can actually pick that up if you go to Haunted Magazine and have a look at the subscriptions. And the guys are growing month after month after month, and it's such a pleasure to have such a great magazine as well that are working alongside us. And for those people who listen to your show, pick up a copy. You might be able to find one online, and there is online. Yeah, they're online, so pick up a copy. And if you want a hard copy, then I'm sure the guys will sort that out for you. But absolute phenomenal read, and there's nothing like it out there on the market.
So then our last issue last month was actually the biggest issue they've ever created, 84 pages long, which is the biggest one yet. I am striving to make the next one even bigger. Actually, Russ Bevin, that's part of our team, was a writer for them for the first time last month, and he actually did write about Smethwick Baths, which is obviously one of the places we commented about. But yeah, there are places in America you can actually buy them from. There are stockists all at New Zealand, America, UK. So if you just go on the website, you'll find it on there. We also partnered up with Goth Angel Productions and M&G Media, which did all our technical support for our last festival. And we'll also be doing our tech support for the next event also. And These Curious Times paper are actually putting a half-page article in their paper this month about our last festival, and they have told me they're going to do a full page in the October issue as well about the festival, and there will be an article in there also about it. So there'll be an advertisement article in there. So we've got so many people to thank, so I can't go on and waffle for like another half an hour. But But yeah, like I said, we've had all these different teams, who you all are, that have always supported us, and we try to support you, and that's how it should be. And that's what we believe. And like I said, we've just had such a phenomenal, I just can't believe how many people are sharing it everywhere, that are promoting it for us. Don't get me wrong, we've asked people to promote it, but the amount of people that are is just crazy, especially when we haven't even released one name or one guest yet.
Yes. In fact, I plan on sticking it up on our website, paranormalengaged.com, along with our Facebook, and we'll be tracking it as well and pushing those updates through so everybody can stay informed.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem. So Karen and Joe, stay with me, and I'll get with you after the show. And I want to take a moment, say thank you to everyone who's been here watching this and has been active in the comments. Greatly appreciate it. If it weren't for you guys, the show wouldn't even be around. So thank you guys so much for the love and support, and we will see you guys next time. So have an awesome Labor Day weekend and be safe, and we will see you guys next time.